This video is about how to talk to anyone, even if you struggle socially your whole life. If you ever felt awkward, frozen, or unsure what to say, if conversation feels exhausting, or you replay every interaction in your head afterwards, this is for you. So I'm going to show you the real mechanics of social mastery, not tricks, not fake confident hacks, but what actually works. We'll go deep into your mindset, nervous system, psychology, and conversation structure with practical exercises and examples you can use immediately. By the end, you'll have a framework that lets you approach anyone and feel calm and connect naturally, even if you struggled for years. Most people think being socially skilled is something you're born with. They see someone walk into a room, smile, start a conversation, and immediately connect, and they think, wow, they just have it. I'll never be like that. But nobody is born socially skilled. Social skill is learned, built, and practiced, just like any other skill. If you struggle socially, if your mind goes blank, if conversations replay in your head for hours, if you feel exposed, it's not because you're broken, it's because nobody ever taught you the system. You might tell yourself, I'm awkward, I don't know what to say, I'm just not a people's person. But you're not bad at talking, you're overwhelmed while talking, and there's a difference. And understanding it, it's critical. When you enter a social situation, your body is scanning for danger. Your nervous system is on high alert, your heart rate increases slightly, your breathing becomes shallow, your muscles tighten, and your attention narrows. And this happens because humans are wired to avoid social rejection. Historically, rejection meant isolation. Isolation meant danger. Our biology still remembers this. This is why when someone asks a question, your mind goes blank. It's not stupidity, it's survival. Your brain is reallocating resources to keep you safe, not craft witty responses. Then comes the internal commentary. Did I say that right? Am I standing weird? Do they like me? What do I say next? Half your mind is listening and half your mind is analyzing. This split destroys flow. You're no longer present, you're performing, and performance creates tension, and tension creates awkwardness, and awkwardness reinforces your self judgment. This loop traps most people, but awkwardness isn't incompetence, it's self protection. Your body is keeping you safe. Understanding that is the first step towards freedom. Before you can connect with anyone, you must regulate your nervous system. Most people try to fix social problems with tricks, such as memorizing lines, practicing small talk, trying to be funny. But if your state is tense, the tricks fail. Here's how to regulate. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, pause for a moment, exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Repeat it twice. The long exhale tells your body it's safe. Drop your shoulders, relax your jaw, let your hand rest naturally. Soften your gaze. This is not a performance, it's psychology. When your body feels safe, your mind clears, and when your mind clears, conversation becomes possible. Calmness is magnetic. People respond to it more than words. Calmness signals strength, not dominance or bluster, just quiet, grounded presence. Once your body is regulated, the next layer is attention. Most social awkwardness comes from self-focus. People constantly ask, am I doing this right? Do they like me? Am I interesting enough? That focus creates tension. The solution is curiosity. Stop trying to be interesting, start trying to understand and ask yourself, who is this person? Instead of performing, start exploring. If someone says, I work in marketing, don't nod, don't just say cool. Ask, what made you choose that field? What do you enjoy most? What's the hardest part? If someone says, I moved to a new city recently, ask, what was the transition like? What surprised you most? What do you miss about your previous city? When you explore someone's experience, you remove pressure from yourself. Curiosity is magnetic. People crave being understood. When you make someone feel seen, they lean in, they relax, they engage. Silence scares the socially anxious. You think, oh no, they're waiting for me to say something. This is awkward. Silence is neutral. Only panic makes it awkward. Confident people use silence strategically. They pause to think, they let words land, they speak with intention. Practice pausing 2 seconds before responding. Speak slower than you think you should. Slow speech signals authority, clarity, and confidence. Every conversation follows a structure: open, explore, relate, expand, close. Let's start with open. How's your day? What brings you here? And then explore. What do you enjoy most? How did you get into it? And then relate, connect briefly, such as, I've experienced something similar, and expand, add depth, such as, what's your long term goal? What matters most to you? And then close, exit confidently, such as, good talking to you, let's catch up again. Balance questions, listening, relation, depth, and closure. This structure works in networking, dating, or casual conversations. Your internal story shapes your behavior, such as repeating, I'm socially awkward. That programmed your brain to find evidence for it. Instead, say, I'm building social mastery. Every conversation becomes practice, not a test. You do not need perfection. You do not need instant charm. You need presence, awareness, and curiosity. Exposure plus reflection equals growth. Talk to one new person per day. Ask one deeper question. Hold eye contact slightly longer. Smile subtly. Small exercises compound rapidly. Now that we explored mindset, regulation, curiosity, silence, structure, and identity, we are going to dig into the practical, how to talk to anyone step by step, with examples you can immediately use. The first skill I want to talk about is starting a conversation. The opening line doesn't need to be clever, it doesn't need to be funny or rehearsed, it just needs to acknowledge the person and invite connection. So just imagine you're at a coffee shop, you see someone reading a book, instead of panicking or staring, you can simply say, hey, I noticed you're reading that book. How are you liking it so far? Notice the mechanics here. You made observation, not judgment. You asked a curiosity based question, not a performance based statement. You gave them a chance to share their experience, which humans naturally want to do. Even if the response is short, you're now in a conversation. And small openings like this, they compound over time and make social interaction easier and more natural. Let's do a real life scenario. Let's say you're at a networking event. A person stands nearby looking at the food table, and instead of saying, Hi, I'm Taj, and immediately and awkwardly holding out your hand, try this. Hey, have you tried the mini quiches? They're surprisingly good. Notice how simple that is. You're commenting on something in the environment, not on the personal traits. If they respond positively, you can layer a follow up question, such as, which one's your favorite? Do you come to events like this often? Because this structure is repeatable. Observe, comment, ask, listen, and then relate. Even if the person gives a short answer, you're learning something about them. The pressure isn't on you to perform, you're exploring, you're curious. So picture this, you're at a party and you see someone standing alone, and instead of thinking, they probably don't want to talk to me, you should try this. Hey, I don't think we've met yet. I'm Taj. How do you know the hostess name? It's simple, safe, and opens the door. The key here is non-verbal signals. Smile genuinely, keep your posture relaxed, make eye contact, but don't stare. The words are only 50% of communication. Your energy, curiosity, and calm presence communicates the rest. If they respond and share the story, you can mirror subtly, such as, oh, that's interesting. I had a similar experience. When? La 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 la. Notice that you're not dominating the conversation. You're reflecting, connecting, and inviting more depth. Let's break down some high-level conversation mechanics that separate average speakers from socially magnetic people. So start with surface questions, then move to deeper emotional questions. The surface question, where are you from? And then depth, what's your favorite memory from there? If someone is nervous, don't mirror anxiety. Mirror the calm gestures, tone, and posture to stabilize the interaction. Humans are wired to respond to stories, not facts. When someone shares an experience, share one of yours that connects emotionally. It doesn't have to be long. Even a 20-second story about a challenge, success, or funny situation, that builds trust. 2 to 3 seconds of silence before replying. It adds weight to your words. It signals thoughtfulness, confidence, and control. Tiny facial changes reveal engagement or discomfort. If someone leans back slightly, slows their nods, or looks around, they might be overwhelmed. Adjust your pace, tone, or topic accordingly. You can't prevent awkward moments. Someone pauses, laughs nervously, or says something unexpected, and most people panic. So here's the principle. Acknowledge without judgment. Let me give you an example. Someone makes an awkward joke. Instead of freezing or judging, saying, haha, that was unexpected, say, tell me more about what you mean. Or if there's a brief silence after a question, simply let it breathe. You don't need to feel it instantly. 2 seconds of pause is perceived as calm confidence, not failure. The key is your internal state. If you're calm, pauses feel intentional. If you're anxious, pauses feel like mistakes. That's why regulation comes first always. Many people fall into extremes. They either talk too much or barely speak, and both create awkwardness. Over talking, you're trying to fill silence because you're nervous. The other person feels overwhelmed, and the solution is ask more questions than you answer. Let curiosity guide you. Under talking, you're scared of saying the wrong thing. The other person feels neglected, and the solution is prepare stories or experiences to share naturally. Focus on connecting and not impressing, because balance comes from listening first, reflecting second, and sharing third. If you're on the spectrum, social cues might feel confusing. Here is a practical system. 1. Anchor questions. Have a mental list of 3 questions you can always use. They act as a conversation scaffolding. 2. Visual scanning. Notice body language, not just words. Leaning, gestures, and facial expressions are signals of engagement. 3. Scripted stories. Prepare a few short stories about your interests. They help you participate without stress. And 4. Pacing practice. Speak slower than normal. Pausing deliberately helps you process cues and reduce anxiety. These tools are not cheating, they are training wheels for social fluency, and over time, they become natural. Your energy communicates before your words do. When you enter a room, people notice posture, breathing, and eye contact first. Feet planted signals grounding. Shoulders relaxed signals calm confidence. Even breathing is signals presence. Micro smile is signals openness. When your energy is steady, others feel safe and natural gravitate towards you. Presence is a skill. It's not about being loud or dominating. It's about stabilizing the energy around you. Small talk doesn't have to be shallow. Use the observation, curiosity, story, reflection model. Observation, I see you drinking a cappuccino. That's my favorite too. Curiosity, do you drink coffee every morning? Story, I started drinking coffee every morning when I was traveling for work. It became a small ritual that grounded me. Reflection, do you have a morning ritual like that as well? Even small talk can become meaningful with structure and intention. We talked about mindset, regulation, curiosity, conversation structure, role play examples, and reading subtle cues. Now it's time to focus on the high level mastery of social interaction, controlling your presence, handling rejection without stress, and speaking in a way that commands attention while remaining authentic. Presence isn't about being the loudest or the center of attention. It's about energy, stability, and awareness. People notice how you carry yourself before they hear what you say. A simple example, you walk into a room, shoulders relaxed, chest slightly forward, gaze soft but steady. Even without saying a word, people will perceive confidence. They will feel safe around you. Presence comes from self-regulation and body alignment. Keep your weight evenly distributed. This signals stability. Avoid crossed arms or fidgeting. That opens a signal that you're approachable. Steady breath keeps your nervous system calm and your voice even. A subtle smile or nod that signals engagement and warmth. When you combine these physical signals with your curiosity and conversation skills, your presence becomes magnetic. People lean in, not because you demand attention, but because you radiate calm confidence. You cannot prevent rejection. Some people panic at the idea of someone not responding warmly or ending a conversation early. Here's the mindset that transforms rejection into a tool for growth. The shift perspective. Rejection is not personal. People have their own context, mood, and priorities. Detach ego from outcome. You're practicing social mastery, not collecting approval points. Observe patterns, not failure. Each no is data. Did you rush? Did you overtalk? Did you ignore cues? Use it to adjust, not to judge yourself. Let me give you an example. You ask someone a question and they give a short or disinterested response. Instead of panicking, say, interesting, thanks for sharing. You acknowledge, reset your energy, and move on gracefully. Your calm reaction signals confidence rather than desperation. When someone shares their feelings, reflecting back subtly, let me give you an example. They said, I'll be stressed at work, and you say, that sounds exhausting. It must take a lot out of you. Because this validates the experience without overanalyzing or trying to fix it. People respond to being seen and understood. Light humor builds connection. Keep it kind and relevant. Let me give you an example. Wow, you like pineapple on pizza? Brave choice. Playful teasing creates bonding while showing social intelligence. Share small, authentic stories of your challenges. This will signal that you can relate and you're trustworthy. Let me give you an example. I used to freeze in social situations too, but I've been practicing a few techniques that really helped. If someone is animated, don't dampen the energy. Mirror it subtly. If someone is calm, don't rush. Your energy stabilizes the interaction, not dominates it. Micro expressions, gestures, and posture they reveal engagement before words do. If someone's leaning forward, they're interested. If someone's leaning back, they need space or they're not interested at all. And also remember mirroring. When someone unconsciously mimics your gestures, you've established rapport. Practice observation of subtle signals that allows you to adjust your tone, pace, and depth of conversation in real time, and it creates smoother interaction. Ending a conversation is as important as starting one. Many people overstay, ramble, or end abruptly. The goal is a graceful, intentional exit that leaves a positive impression. So, techniques use appreciation, such as it was really great talking to you, enjoyed learning about your experience, or invite future interactions if appropriate, like I'd love to continue this conversation sometime, or move to another activity naturally. I'm going to grab a drink. Let's catch up later. Closing confidently shows self respect, social awareness, and maturity. People remember how you made them feel more than what you said. Imagine you're in a group discussion. You notice someone hasn't spoken yet. You make eye contact and nod, and later you say, hey, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. This draws them in and demonstrates confidence and signals inclusion without overstepping. You're not controlling the conversation, you're guiding it with presence. If someone challenges your opinion, respond calmly, such as, interesting perspective. I haven't thought of it that way. Notice that you're acknowledging it without being defensive. Calm responses under subtle pressure signals mastery. If you're moving through multiple social interactions, energy management is key. Short regulation exercises, 2 deep breaths between conversations reset your nervous system. Do micro pauses, step away briefly to observe, notice posture, and restart again. Anchor topics, have 1 or 2 topics ready that are easy to discuss and evoke curiosity. These keeps you present, attentive, and engaging without exhaustion. Storytelling and impact stories are the glue of human connection. Even small experiences can be shared to illustrate points. Personal challenges such as, I remember freezing in meetings until I realized regulating my breath made a huge difference. Observation, one time I noticed a person standing alone, and by asking a simple curiosity question, we ended up having a 20-minute conversation about shared experiences. Humor, I once introduced myself to someone while spilling coffee. Awkward? Absolutely, but we laughed and the tension vanished. Stories humanize you, and it makes interaction memorable. Social mastery isn't a single event, it's repetition, observation, reflection, and adjustment. Practice one small interaction every day. Reflect briefly afterwards, like what worked, what felt awkward. Adjust and try again. This builds not just skill, but confidence, because mastery comes from repeated success experiences, not instant perfection. Once you combine calm presence, curiosity, conversation mechanics, observation, and reflection, your influence grows naturally. People seek your opinion, others feel comfortable sharing with you, your words carry weight without force. Influence is a byproduct of being attentive, composed, and genuine, not manipulation or performance. Mastering social connection has layers. Regulate your nervous system, shift from performance to curiosity, observe, mirror, and validate subtly, use pauses, energy, and presence intentionally, practice consistently, and reflect. When all these elements combine, social interaction feels effortless, even if you once struggled. Conversations become opportunities to explore, connect, and grow, rather than tests to pass. And that is the foundation of truly talking to anyone confidently, naturally, and deeply.